Hello and welcome back to Out of Spec Bits. My name is Matt and you join me in my 2026 Tesla Model Y, the top selling electric vehicle in the United States for the year 2025. 2025 was an interesting year for electric vehicles. It was the year in which the top selling electric pickup truck, the Ford F-150 Lightning, was discontinued. 2025 was the year in which the electric Dodge Charger sold more than the Tesla Model S. And 2025 was the first time I had finally started seeing Nissan Arias on the road, only for that vehicle to be discontinued. So today we're going to take a look at all the electric vehicles that were sold in the United States for the year 2025, and we're going to determine the winners and the losers of the last year. So today is meant to be a little highlights reel of sorts. We're going to go through lots of electric vehicles, not every single model and brand out there because it's quite a list, and we have the list. Thank you to EVwire for providing this. This was out on X this week, and it's just a lot of compilation of a lot of cars. So we're going to go through some notable things. And the first thing I will say, the big unexpected winner, and it'd be hard and difficult to believe this a couple of years ago, was GM. GM crushed it. I just have some numbers from GM sales. You know, this includes Chevrolet and Cadillac and everything else, GMC brand, right? Easily the biggest year-over-year winner in the United States. A 48% increase in electric vehicle sales from 2024, which is incredible. I just have some stats comparison to last year here. You'll love this. The big winner, no surprise because I see these cars almost everywhere I go now, the Chevy Equinox EV. 2024, 28,000 units sold. 2025, 57,000 units. It was 100% year-over-year increase on that vehicle. Chevy Blazer EV stayed about the same, 2% less difference in sales. Now, also keep in mind, some of these cars I'm going to go through maybe just started selling this year, or they had started selling at the end of 2024. But nevertheless, we saw some huge increases. The Silverado EV, a 51% increase, 7,000 units sold in 2024, up to 11,000 in 2025. The Hummer EV, believe it or not, a 13% increase in sales in 2025, which I think is incredible. It's almost forgotten about, but what a kick-ass vehicle. The Sierra EV, GMC Sierra EV, a 300% increase. Again, I think this is another vehicle that had just started selling at the end of 2024, but 8,000 of those vehicles were sold last year. And then we have, you know, the new contenders in the Cadillac lineup, right? The Escalade IQ, 8,000 units sold. The Optic, 12,000 units, and the Vistic, 7,800 units. So a 50% year-over-year increase for GM. I think it's incredible. It's great for our market here in the United States. Tesla, as we'll look at their numbers, obviously has a significant lead in market share here, you know, still 40%. But even with electric vehicle sales declining by about 2% in the year 2025, GM was able to increase by a significant amount, and I think it's a fantastic thing for the diversity of electric vehicles here in the United States. Just one last comment on GM, and then we'll move on. I'm just impressed with the lineup. I think going forward, GM has kind of figured this out, where we have brand loyalty. We have people who want to buy Chevrolet, who want to buy Cadillac, and to create this lineup of cars. I mean, I'm looking at almost a dozen vehicles in so many different categories. I think they're doing the right thing. I think it's really like the proof is in the numbers and the sales for this year. And, you know, like I said, it's a great thing going forward. We need more of this attitude by other OEMs in the United States, and I hope others catch on. So next, we got to talk about Tesla. Leaders still in market share. Over 40% of electric vehicles in the United States are Tesla vehicles. The Tesla Model Y coming in at 350,000 units sold for 2025. Model 3 was next in line at 192. Both of those cars reserved the top 2 spots in total electric vehicle sales for the last year. And what's most notable is that the Model S and the Model X are basically non-existent. They are so far down on the list, which is kind of remarkable considering 10 years ago, these were the only vehicles that Tesla offered for sale. Cybertruck, again, 20,000 of those trucks were sold in 2025, considerably less than any of the estimates, come 2 years ago when that truck was starting to go for sale, and pre-orders were coming in before that, right? So in line with other electric pickup sales, but still, pretty small numbers when you compare the Model Y and Model 3 for the year 2025. I'm real curious to see what's going to be happening. I feel like the S and X lines need a major revamp and refresh, and maybe that will entice some more buyers to pick up the pieces, as it may be. Next, going down the list, I want to talk about Rivian. Rivian had an 18% sales decline from 2024, but I think you'll agree, I think a lot of people are waiting for R2. R2 is going to be a big moment for the company. It's the right price point. It's what people want and have been waiting for many years. I think there's so many fans of what Rivian is doing in the vehicles and the software and the various integration, and I wish them all the best. I think R2 is going to be a moment for them, like maybe the Model 3 or Model Y was for Tesla, for that company, and I hope they crush it in 2026. And I think that kind of explains why there was a little bit of a sales decline last year, just buyers waiting for that product. Next, I have the Mach-E numbers, which Ford sold 51,000 electric Mustangs, and it should be noted that for the second year in a row, Ford sold more electric Mustangs than gasoline ones, which I think is pretty incredible. We'll go through electric pickup trucks in a moment, but the F-150 Lightning, as I said, the best-selling and discontinued electric pickup truck in the U.S. with 27,000 units sold last year. Next, we have Hyundai and Kia. The Kia EV9 continues to be one of the best-selling 3-row electric SUVs. I was one of the first people to get one. I was kind of somewhat early adopter, at least here in the Northeast. Not many people had them. I love that vehicle. And so 15,000 of those EV9s were sold last year. The EV6 surprisingly had a difficult year, about 30% sales decline, selling about 13,000 units last year, which I'm surprised. I feel like, again, I see more and more of these vehicles on the road. Just my anecdotal evidence. Ioniq 5 was a high-selling vehicle, 47,000 Ioniq 5 sold. Ioniq 6 being around 10,000, and then the Ioniq 9, which is somewhat new, but actually impressive at 5,000 sales on that Hyundai Ioniq 9. I thought I'd take a moment to go through electric trucks. We love electric trucks. I know I do. Just the numbers across the various brands. As I said before, F-150 Lightning, 27,000. Highest volume leader last year. Cybertruck coming in around 20,000. The Silverado EV, 11,000. Which kick-ass vehicle. I mean, I've seen some of these on the road. I'm always impressed. I gotta find someone that has one, then please let me drive your truck. The Hummer EV, 16,000 for last year. And then the Rivian was in last place at 7.4 thousand with the R1T. So electric pickup trucks, tough. I hope these companies keep at it. Let's not give in. I'm looking at you, Ford. I want to talk about BMW next, and we do have to address the plug-in hybrid situation. Battery electric vehicles for BMW, 42,000 across the various models, i4, i5, i7, iX, right? down 17% from 2024. On the flip side, plug-in hybrid sales in 2025 are up 31%, selling 25,000 across their model. So it's interesting on the BMW side, seeing, EV softening and plug-in hybrid surging, quite a bit. And I'll say, BMW, if you're listening, bring back the i3. Bring it back, please. Maybe this is what we all need in our lives. Another i3 experience. Would you consider it? Mercedes, I want to give them some slack. They did basically discontinue the EQ line in 2025. My fingers are crossed for the electric CLA. I wish them all the best. It looks like it's just kind of a year of retooling for Mercedes. And I think they'll move in the right direction. Fingers crossed for 2026. So for new contenders in the electric vehicle market, the Porsche Macan EV selling 8,800 units in 2025, outselling the gasoline Macan. Impressive. Lucid Gravity, a little bit disappointing. I think this car was hyped up and people were really anticipating it. Only 1,800 Lucid Gravities were sold in 2025. Compare that with 10,000 Lucid Airs. So some work to be done there. I'd like to thank EVwire again for compiling this list. You can check out the entire list on their website, EVwire.com. And I'm curious to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen in 2026? Will GM continue on their charge and their electrification plan? Will Tesla revamp their legacy models? And I'm dying to know what's going to happen with the R2. So thanks for watching today. Like, comment, and subscribe to Out of Spec, and I'll catch you guys later.